Hello and welcome, or welcome back to my channel. Today I've got some easy DIYs to share with you using things that you probably already have in your own stash. So if you want to know how to make them, stick around. I'll show you how. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it.
Isn't that right, Maxwell? Be sure and give me a like because it really does help my channel. Thank you so much. Okay, for this one, I'm using some 4x4 blocks that I got on Amazon. I'll give you the link for them, or you could just use a piece of 4x4 wood. And then I'm going to take some 5-gallon stir sticks to frame this out. So I'm going to come to the bottom first, make a straight cut on it, and then after I get these cut, then I'll make my sides to kind of go over them. And I'm just going to cut this with a miter saw. And then I'm using the short ones for the sides, and then I'm going to use the longer ones to go over the top. So you cut those a little bit longer. And then we're just going to use some wood glue to put all this together. Before I assemble it, I'm just painting these with some gray chalk paint. This is just Parisian gray chalk paint by Folk Art. And I'm going to paint the sides, the back, the bottom, all pieces. And I'm doing 3 of these little blocks. For my blocks, I'm just painting those with a white chalk paint. And I'm only painting just the top. Okay, next I cut out these letters with my Cricut that say love you more. I'll give you the link for those in the description below. You can download them in both PDF and SVG. If you don't have a Cricut, you can just Mod Podge those on there. Since it is a white base, white paper would be just fine. I'm putting my words right in the center on each one where it hangs over both sides. These were made exactly to fit a 4-inch block. Just kind of line it up to make it go straight across and then go ahead and attach it. And I'm going to do both the other blocks exactly the same way. Make sure you do get them lined up. Next, I'm going to add my frame. I'm just going to put a little bit of wood glue down at the bottom of each one of these little pieces and glue this in. Then I am going to use some clamps to clamp this. And I'm putting the 2 long ends on the top and the bottom and the 2 short ends on the side. And you can do it opposite, however you want to do it. But I just thought it looked a little bit better to have the 2 long ends on the top and the bottom. And you don't need a lot of wood glue. Just use a little bit of wood glue. You don't want it oozing out. And then if you don't have clamps, don't worry about it because these did snug up pretty good anyways. And then you're going to do the other 2 blocks exactly the same way and then just set them aside and let them dry. Next, I decided to distress my frame a little bit. So I'm taking some paper, I'm just folding it up to fit inside of here so that I don't get any paint onto my picture itself. Just kind of stick it in there just to cover all that up, and then just take your, we're going to take some white chalk paint and a chip brush, and we're just going to lightly distress all the sides of this. Then I'm taking a paper towel and my chip brush, take your paint, put it onto the paper towel, kind of brush most of it off, and then just kind of go and distress it however much you want to. It doesn't take a lot of paint to do this. I mean, I'm literally going to probably do nearly the whole thing with just that one little dab of paint that I put out there. And I'm doing the inside and the outside on all of it. Just kind of gave it a little bit more depth. And then I'm going to do each one of my other frames exactly the same way. This next one, I'm just using some regular white copy paper, and I'm going to cut these into 1-inch strips. And I'm cutting them on the long side so that we have short strips coming off of that. And then we're going to cut these into different sizes. But you're going to want to cut a lot of them, probably at least maybe 4 or 5 sheets of these. Okay, then you're going to cut these. You're going to leave 2 of these at 8.5. And then you're going to cut 2 at 7.5, 2 at 6.5, and 2 at 5.5. Get all those done, go ahead and line them out from the largest to the smallest. And then we're going to start by taking the 2 large ones, putting those 2 together. We're going to take the next size, Put one on each side of that large one and keep going till you get all the way to the end. So you're going to alternate front, back, and then front and then back. So you'll have a stair step on both sides once you're finished putting that together. So you have a stair step on that side and that side. Then we're just going to staple right down the center. Then start pulling in your two small ones down to the bottom. Then your two 6.5-inch ones down to the bottom as well, alternating until you get to the end. That's the 7.5 one, and then you're going to pull the 8.5 on both sides as well. Just make sure you do get the bottom lined up. And then we're just going to staple that closed. And that's going to be how you make that heart. Next, I'm making a garland with this, and I did 8 of these, and then I'm going to cut a string, a piece of jute that measures 12 inches to hang each one of these. So cut all of them at 12 inches. Now I'm going to hang this over my mantle. This would be pretty over a doorway. It'd be pretty over a window, just anywhere that you could hang something. To attach these to my heart, I'm just going to take my jute, tie a knot at one end. And then I'm going to run a bead of hot glue down the very center top part of my heart. And I'm going to evenly put my jute string right there in the center of it. Just kind of line it up and then kind of squeeze that together at the top. And then that'll hold together real good. Okay, this next one's super simple. I've given you a pattern for the heart. You can download it in the description below. And all you're going to do is just take twigs and start cutting them to the length of the little sections. And I'm going to kind of go fast through this, but I want you to be able to see. You're going to start with a layer on the bottom, get it completely layered on the bottom, and then we're going to start layering it up on the top and gluing the pieces to it. And that's what's going to hold it together. But just get different size branches, different shaped branches, and then just really just start filling it in. And I'm using branches that are about 1/4 inch in diameter. You don't want something really big, but just if you have the miter shears, that's what I'm cutting these with. It really makes it go fast. And just pick different shape branches, different size branches. Really kind of mix it up a little bit, and it'll really give it a nice rustic look. And then once you get your bottom layer done, then we're going to start going across the top layer. So just keep cutting it till you have your heart completely filled in. And if you don't have branches at your house, just go down to a park that has trees and go on a nature walk. Just kind of pick up branches, because any place that has trees are going to have branches on the ground. And this is about how much I'm putting on the bottom layer, and then I'm going to start going across the top layer. So get about that much, and then start gluing in your pieces across the top to hold it all together. Now you need to do enough to hold each branch. So just kind of randomly put them on there, but you want to make sure that you get every single branch covered so that when you pick this up, it's one solid piece. Once we get the top part done, we'll flip it over and we'll do some on the back as well. And once I got done with mine was a pretty solid heart. It's not going to fall apart. And be sure and use different shaped sticks. I mean, the curved ones and everything really give it a lot of character. And if they have knots on them, that's even better. Just really kind of mix it up a little bit. And this really didn't take that long to make. And actually, this would be a great project to do with kids or grandkids. They would love to do something like this. And you're not filling it completely in, so you do want some holes between it. Then flip it over and do the back as well. Okay, and this is how full I got mine. I added quite a few sticks to it. You can kind of fill in more if you want to, but it looks really good full like that. And then take a heat source just to get all the excess strings from your glue off. Okay, next I'm taking one of the wooden hearts from the Dollar Tree, and then I'm taking some wheat colored water-based stain, and I'm going to stain the front, the back, and then into those little groove areas, I'm going to stain those as well. And I'll give you the link for this. I got it on Amazon. But just really make sure that you get it completely covered. Next, to give it a more of a rustic feel, I'm taking some white chalk paint and a chip brush, and I'm going to lightly go over this to add a little bit of a rustic look to it. Just kind of rough it up a little bit. And I'm starting light with my paint, and then I'm going to go in a lot heavier. Next, to attach it, I'm just going to use some E6000 glue and some hot glue. And you want to put plenty of glue on this. And you do want to use the E6000 glue because this is a little bit bulky. And you want to make sure it does stay in place. And I'm just running it along the lines that are going to actually be against the board. But you want to make sure you do add plenty and then set it aside and let it dry. And to hang it, I'm just going to run a piece of jute through each hole to the front, and I'm going to tie a knot off into the front. And that was pretty much it. That was a pretty simple project. I really had fun doing this one, you know, getting a little bit of things out of nature and using them inside your home. And I really like the way that this is very rustic looking. If you do decorate rustic, which I do, let me know in the comments if you do. This one I'm going to use some hearts. I've given you the pattern in the description below in both SVG and PDF. And I'm going to cut out 32 hearts. Now, if you don't want to cut out all these hearts, you can purchase them. Michael's has them and Amazon has them. And then I'm just going to take my scoreboard and I'm going to score down the center of each one of these. And I'll show you an alternative here in a minute as well. Then you're just going to fold them over. Just make sure you get them all folded over good. Then kind of stack them up and just make sure you get your creases really, really smooth. If you don't want to use 32 hearts, you can take these hearts, glue 2 of them together right there like that. And you can really only need to use about 6 to 8 of these if you want to do it this way. This is an alternative to the one I'm making today. I'm going to take my hearts and I'm going to glue a line right down the center of each one of these. You're going to glue each one of these closed just like that. Then once you get all of yours done, then we're going to start gluing them at the top, the bottom, and we're going to stack them. And you're going to continue to do that until you have them all glued together. And I'm probably coming down a 1/2 inch from the top and a 1/2 inch from the bottom. But you want to glue them in the same place on each one of these. And then that's how this is going to look once you get those glued together. I'm just going to take a small terracotta pot and I'm going to paint it with some white chalk paint. This is probably about a 2.5 inch tall by 2.5 inch wide. It's just a small one. Next, I'm taking a 1/4 inch dowel stick. I'm showing them cut it at 9 inches, but go ahead and cut it at 7 inches because I did trim it off a little bit later. And then I'm going to paint that with the same white chalk paint. Assemble it. I'm just going to glue straight down the center of my heart. And I'm going to attach my dowel stick here. Then I'm going to pull them all the way open and I'm going to glue the 2 sides together with hot glue. Now I'm using a pretty thick cardstock. If you use a thinner cardstock, I think it would work a little bit better. And you could even just use regular copy paper on this. You just hold it together until it dries. Next, I'm taking a pool noodle, sticking it down into my flower pot and just cutting this off. Now, if you want to use floral foam, you can do that too. I just had these. Okay, then I'm going to take a cork. I'm going to cut it in half lengthwise, and I'm going to put it down in the center. And that's where I'm going to attach my hot air balloon. What we're making is a hot air balloon. And you just go right down in the center. And I'm going to glue that in place here in a minute. And then I'm just going to attach a heart right to the center. Then I'm taking some little barbecue skewers and I'm going to paint those with that same white chalk paint. And I'm using 4 of these. Next, I went ahead and cut these at about 5.5 inches, but I am going to cut them a little bit shorter here in a minute. I'm going to go ahead and assemble all my sticks onto my hot air balloon, and then I'm going to make one measurement and then cut them off. So you're going to stick it up in there and let it set on the ledge, and then we're going to trim them out to set just right flush on top of that flower pot. Just get all 4 of them up in there and then just make one measurement. And then you cut them all off at the same length. So I'm going to go ahead and pull my cork and stuff back out, and I'm going to glue it in. And then I'm going to put a little bit of glue on each side of the cork too, just to hold those in place. And then I'm going to glue my hot air balloon right down into the center. Just kind of make sure that it does stand up straight. Then I'm going to put a little bit of glue up into the hot air balloon and then down on the bottom to hold this one in. And then I figured out I really didn't need to put any glue up into the hot air balloon, just on the bottom part, because it's going to stay up in there anyways. And put a pretty good size bit of glue on there. You want to make sure it holds in place, because we are going to cover that up with a ribbon here in a minute. You won't even see the glue. But you're just kind of angling them out. Again, if you don't want to cut out a bunch of hearts, you can get these at Michael's. I think Hobby Lobby has them in a pack too, and Amazon has them in a pack. These are about 4 inches. Then I'm taking some little flowers that I had just to go down into the bottom, just to kind of cover up all that cork and that foam. And I got those little flowers at Dollar Tree. They just came in a little pack. You got quite a bit of them in there, and they're just little foam roses. And they're just covering up where I'm putting the pool noodle, and just kind of fills it in so you don't see it. And I'm sorry I'm getting out of the camera a little bit, but you can kind of see what I'm doing. I'm taking some little red ribbon. I'm just going to make 4 little bows, and that's going to be at the very bottom of each one of those sticks that we attached. And I'm going to glue my bow right at the end, covering up the stick and onto the flower pot. And you could do these in so many different colors. These actually would make really cute gifts. And then I'm going to put a heart right down into the center. All right, this was pretty quick and easy. Next one, I'm going to use some red felt, and I'm going to use some pinking shears, and I've given you those hearts in the pattern in the description below. Just cut them out, and we're going to cut 4 of these out of the felt. So you're just going to fold your fabric over and then make 2 of them exactly the same. And you don't have to use pinking shears on here, but it really did look cute with the pinking shears. You got those cut out, we're going to start gluing them together. Now we're going to come up about 1 inch from the bottom. We're going to go all the way around our heart and stop about 1 inch from the bottom on the opposite side. Just kind of get as close to the edge as you can without your glue oozing out, but make sure you do get enough glue to seal it in, because we are going to stuff these. And we're going to do both of these exactly the same way. Those have dried, we're going to start stuffing these, and we're not going to stuff them real full. You just want to get them padded. And make sure you get up into both the corners really well so that it is completely full. Got those stuffed. We're going to take a 1/4 inch dowel stick, that's 1/4 by 12, and we're going to cut it at 6.5 inches, and then we're going to cut another one at 5.5 inches. You just kind of want them stair step from each other. And then we're just going to put it right into the bottom part of our heart and glue it in. Just push it on in there where it's up in there pretty good, and then start gluing that together. And you're going to do the same thing with the other heart. To decorate them up a little bit, I'm just going to add 3 little rhinestones to each corner. And I'm just using a jewel setting tool. It's pretty easy. I'll give you the link for that in the description below. It really makes it easy. And I'm doing the exact same thing with the other one, except I'm going to put the little rhinestones on the opposite side. Next, I'm taking about a 2.5-inch flower pot, a little terracotta pot, and I'm going to paint the inside and the outside with some crimson red chalk paint. And that's Waverly brand on that. I'm going to take another piece of that little pool noodle to stick down into the center. Okay, then I'm just going to attach my hearts right down into the center. Next, I just cut a piece of burlap to go around the outside of the flower pot. I'm going to take a rubber band and then I'm going to attach it, and I'm going to go all the way up to the ledge on this. And don't worry about seeing the foam inside there right now. We are going to change this up here in a second. Next, I got these little hearts at Hobby Lobby, and I'm just going to stick a dowel stick in each one of them. And then I'm just going to cut them short because these are going to be kind of on the bottom part of the flower pot. Now, if you don't have hearts like this, you can make some other hearts out of that same pattern that'll go a little bit lower. And just going to put them right down into the bottom like this, just to kind of fill up the bottom a little bit. And then I'm going to take some red ribbon and I'm going to tie a bow around the bottom part. This would make a cute little gift as well. Decide to cover up the foam. I'm just taking another piece of that red felt, cutting a circle out, and I'm just going to put it right down into the bottom. Then I'm going to take an X-Acto knife and cut some slits to get my hearts back in here. It just kind of, sealed it up a little bit. You didn't see the styrofoam. It kind of cleaned it up a little bit. And I'm just pushing the gray ones down into the bottom. All right, and that was pretty much it. That was pretty simple. Look how cute that is. Okay, I hope you enjoyed the video today. I hope it gave you some inspiration. Some of these could actually be made for gifts. Actually, the little balloon one and then the little red felt ones, those would make super cute gifts. If you like these kind of videos, be sure and give me a like, subscribe, and ring that bell to be notified when I have a new video upload. Thank y'all so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And if nobody's told you today, you're awesome. See you next time. Thanks for watching.